My loving audience take my love and subscribes my channel. Was this a simple case of bad timing, or are we witnessing the calculated dismantling of a marriage? Seriously, think about that for a second. When Smitty looked Martin in the eye and said no, he wasn't just turning down a vacation. He was turning down a role he's been forced to play for years. You have to wonder, is the Dupree legacy really worth the price of a husband's soul? Is Martin Dupree actually being dumped, or is Smitty just finally learning how to beat him at his own game? Let's dive into why this unexpected move by Smitty is actually the most logical thing he's ever done. The whole scene started out looking like classic soap opera domesticity. We had a charity basketball tournament where the men of Fairmont Crest could blow off some steam. It was a chance for them to perform their masculinity for the cameras. We see Martin, Ted, Carlton, and Kyle in the locker room, and you can practically smell the sweat and ego through the screen. Smitty is there, too, but he's basically the punchline. The guys are all teasing him for his lackluster court skills. He's taking the brunt of this good-natured bullying. But was it really good-natured? Think about the psychology of that locker room for a minute. This isn't just banter. It's a social hierarchy being reinforced right before our eyes. By teasing Smitty for being bad at basketball, the other men, led by Martin, are subtly placing Smitty in a box. They are putting him in the supportive spouse category. They are essentially saying, you aren't the athlete, you aren't the politician, you're just the one who showed up because someone else couldn't play. Martin's comment that it was good Smitty was there only because Andre declined is the ultimate backhanded compliment. It reveals that in Martin's eyes, Smitty is often just a placeholder. This dynamic is the foundation for the explosion that follows, and honestly, can you blame Smitty for feeling a bit pushed aside? Once they get home, the masks really start to slip. Martin notices the house is quiet because Samantha and Tyrell are out. He immediately tries to capitalize on that silence. He wants to whisk Smitty away on a romantic trip. Now, why now? Why a sudden trip when the Senate election is looming like a dark cloud over their heads? If you look at it closely, Martin isn't seeking romance. He's seeking a vacuum. He wants to pull Smitty out of that investigative journalist mindset and get him back into the doting husband mindset. It's a tactical maneuver. He wants to silence that true crime podcast that his campaign manager, Shonda, is so terrified of. Martin is feeling the walls close in. He's carrying this crushing weight of having killed a man. Even if Vernon thinks that secret is buried, Martin knows it's not. He's desperate for a space where he doesn't have to be candidate Dupree. But he's also desperate to keep Smitty from digging too deep into the Impaler case. He's terrified that case might lead back to his own dark history. So, this trip? It's a bribe. It's a beautiful, expensive cage. Martin is offering a romantic getaway as a trade for Smitty's professional integrity. He's basically saying, I'll give you my heart if you give me your silence. In my opinion, this move by Martin is just plain wrong. It's incredibly patronizing to think that a weekend in a hotel can erase the fact that Martin has been keeping Smitty in the dark. He's hiding a Senate run and a literal body in the park. Martin is treating Smitty like a child who needs a distraction, not a partner who needs the truth. This is pure avoidance behavior. Martin can't handle the confrontation that honesty would bring. So, he tries to reset the relationship with a grand gesture. He's addicted to what I call the Dupree protector complex. That's where you frame keeping secrets as an act of love rather than an act of control. But we all know the truth, right? Then comes the moment that shocked the entire fandom. Smitty says no. He refuses the trip. He cites the election, but more importantly, he talks about his duty to finish the investigation into the Impaler. This isn't just Smitty being a workaholic. He's drawing a line in the sand. By choosing the red market runner over a romantic getaway, Smitty is asserting that his identity as a journalist is not negotiable. He knows that flushing a crime boss out of DC was just the start. People are still being hurt in other cities. Smitty feels a duty to them that he no longer feels toward Martin's political ambitions. You can see the betrayal in Smitty's eyes. He found out that Martin went to Vernon for advice about the Senate run before he ever came to his own husband. Smitty is feeling the sting of being the last to know in his own marriage. Can you imagine how much that hurts? Choosing his investigation is his way of regaining his power. If Martin won't include him in the future of the family, Smitty will find his own future in the truth. This is how Smitty beats Martin. He's the only one in the room with moral clarity. Martin is playing politics, but Smitty is playing for justice. When Smitty chooses the victims of the red market over Martin's ego, he wins the moral high ground. He isn't just refusing a trip, he's refusing to be an accomplice to Martin's silence. And honestly, good for Smitty. It's about time someone in that house prioritized the truth over the Dupree name. For way too long, Smitty has been expected to be the good husband while Martin plays God with secrets. This rejection is the most honest thing that has happened in their relationship in an entire year. Smitty is finally moving from codependency to autonomy. He's realized that the secrets are a choice Martin makes every single day. Smitty's refusal is a psychological breakout. He's no longer willing to be the collateral damage in Martin's internal war. But we have to look at the bigger picture here. The headline "Martin dumped" isn't just clickbait. It's based on a very real history. We have to go back to July 17, 2025. That's when the foundation first cracked. That was when Martin actually moved out of their home and in with Anita and Vernon. Why? Because Smitty needed time and space from all the lies. History is repeating itself, but this time, the twist is even more dangerous. In 2025, it was about Kenneth, the attacker. In 2026, it's about a Senate run and a smuggling ring. The pattern is so clear it's painful. Martin lies to protect, Smitty finds out, the relationship collapses, and Martin retreats to the safety of his grandparents' house. Martin is absolutely terrified of being dumped again. He remembers how cold it felt to move out in 2025. That's why he looks so disappointed when Smitty refuses the trip. It's not just about a lost vacation. It's about the fact that he can no longer control the narrative of his own marriage. The Dupree family has this rampant protector complex that acts like a slow-acting poison. They think they are shielding each other, but they are actually just building walls. Martin's disappointment is the realization that his wall isn't high enough to keep Smitty out of the Impaler case. And let's be real, Martin's disappointment is actually quite manipulative. He's using his emotions as a weapon to make Smitty feel guilty for having a career. It's a classic move: I'm trying to love you, and you're choosing work. But the work Smitty is choosing is the only thing keeping him sane in a house built on lies. This is generational trauma in action. Martin is doing exactly what Vernon and Anita taught him to do: bury the bodies, keep the secrets, and maintain the facade. Smitty is an outsider, and that makes him the only one capable of breaking that cycle. That also makes him a threat to the entire Dupree ecosystem. The tension isn't staying inside the bedroom anymore. It's leaking into the campaign. Shonda, the campaign manager, is already panicking. She doesn't see Smitty's podcast as a pursuit of justice. She sees it as a negative impact on the polls. This sets up a massive three-way collision. You've got Martin's ambition, Smitty's integrity, and Shonda's PR strategy. If Smitty continues his investigation, he might stumble upon something that connects to the red market runner who is still hurting people. And if that runner has any connection to the secrets Vernon is trying to keep buried, the Dupree Senate run will be dead before it even starts. Smitty is caught in an impossible spot. If he stays quiet, he's a reliable husband but a failed journalist. If he speaks, he's a hero to the public but a traitor to the family. It's an impossible choice that is slowly eroding his sanity. Martin is being incredibly selfish by even asking Smitty to reconsider the podcast. He's basically asking Smitty to stop being who he is so that Martin can become someone else. That isn't a partnership. That's an acquisition. I'm calling it right now: Martin isn't just going to look disappointed, he's going to move out again. The bump in the road that the spoilers mention is going to turn into a full-blown cliff. As the Impaler investigation heats up, Smitty is going to find a link that Martin has been hiding. This is going to be a repeat of that July 2025 fallout, but this time, there might not be any coming back. Martin will seek refuge with Vernon again, which will only prove Smitty's point that he is not Martin's first priority. Smitty's podcast is eventually going to expose the very secret Martin is trying to protect. The Impaler case isn't a distraction, it's the catalyst. By beating Martin in this moment of defiance, Smitty has set off a chain reaction. It's all leading to one ultimate choice, his marriage or his mission. So, I want to hear from you guys in the comments. Is Smitty right to prioritize his investigation over his marriage, or is he being just as stubborn as Martin? And do you think Martin actually loves Smitty, or is Smitty just a pawn in the Dupree family's quest for political power? I really want to know what you think, so let's get a debate going down below. I read every single comment. This isn't just a soap opera plot. It's a study in how secrets destroy the very things they are meant to protect. Martin Dupree wanted to build a legacy, but he might end up building a tomb for his marriage instead. If you want to see how this investigation unfolds and if Smitty finally blows the lid off Fairmont Crest, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. We are doing deep dives into Beyond the Gates every single week, and you definitely don't want to miss the fallout of the next big secret. Thanks for watching, and remember, in the world of the Duprees, the truth doesn't set you free, it just makes you the target. See you in the next one. Think about how much pressure Martin is under. He's trying to follow in Vernon's footsteps, right? Everyone is always telling him how much they appreciate what Vernon did for the community. Martin wants that same praise. He wants to be the good guy. But he's carrying a secret that says he's anything but a traditional hero. He's already in a position of power, but the world expects more. He feels this need to have a lasting legacy. But he hasn't been freed from his past. He promised Smitty he would do better, but then he goes and weighs this huge political decision without even mentioning it to him. It's rare for them to even be together as a family because everyone is so busy. But instead of using that rare quiet time to be honest, Martin uses it to try and manipulate a vacation. It's like he thinks if he can just keep things happy on the surface, the rot underneath won't matter. But that's not how it works. The longer this goes on, the more that pressure builds. And with characters like Grayson getting stabbed, it just proves that danger is everywhere. Martin might not have as much time as he thinks he does to finally come clean. Smitty's frustration is so relatable. Imagine being married to someone and realizing they value their grandfather's political approval more than your partnership. Smitty understands why Martin would go to Vernon. Vernon is his strongest supporter. But both Smitty and Nicole have real concerns. This Senate run invites a level of scrutiny that their family just can't handle. It jeopardizes their credibility. If Martin's secret comes out, Smitty will never be trusted as a journalist again. Martin can't protect them from that fallout. Is it really worth the risk? Martin feels this weird pressure to make himself smaller as a way of doing penance for what he did. But at the same time, he's reaching for the highest office he can. It's a total contradiction. No one can give him a guarantee that the secret will stay hidden. Smitty sees that. Nicole sees that. They have to wonder why Vernon thinks any differently. Is Vernon just blinded by his own ambition for Martin? Or does he truly believe they are untouchable? The dynamic between Smitty and Jacob is another interesting layer. They've been collaborating for weeks, comparing notes and working together. But now that Smitty knows the truth about the body in the park and Martin's involvement, he's pulling back. He's being loyal to Martin, but at what cost? He told Jacob he can't help him anymore because he has to think about his family and his kids. All that work they did together is just gone. It's sad to see Smitty having to compromise his own beliefs and his own career to cover for Martin's mistakes. Will Smitty keep up the secrets? Now that he's been brought into this messy situation, will he stay quiet? The Joey Armstrong factor is very real, too. Nobody wants to be associated with him, but that's exactly where they are right now. The Dupree family is so focused on protecting each other that they are destroying the very bonds that hold them together. It's a rampant protector complex, and it's damaging everything it touches. And what about Nicole? She's a psychiatrist, but she's the one being kept out of the loop. She's tired of the lies, especially after everything that happened with Ted. She doesn't understand why her own family wouldn't trust her. She went to Smitty's and found out Martin moved out, and that was just the beginning. Anita is about to tell her the whole truth. Can you imagine her reaction when she finds out Ted was involved, too? That he was the one who performed surgery on the attacker? She is not going to be happy. Will her relationship with Martin change? Will her relationship with Ted suffer even more? It seems like every time they take a step forward, a new secret pulls them 2 steps back. This whole family is built on a foundation of buried bodies, both literal and figurative. And as we know in the world of soaps, nothing stays buried forever. Martin's unexpected trip proposal was a desperate attempt to keep the lid on a pot that's already boiling over. He wanted to take Smitty away from the Impaler investigation because he's scared of what Smitty might find. He's scared of the red market runner. He's scared of everything. But Smitty's refusal was a wake-up call. Smitty isn't going to be whisked away anymore. He's going to stand his ground. He's going to do his job. And he's going to force Martin to face the reality of what he's done. This is the turning point for them. The bump in the road is more like a sinkhole. Martin's disappointment is really just a reflection of his own failure to lead with honesty. He wants the reward of a happy marriage without doing the work of being a transparent partner. And Smitty is finally saying that's not enough. He's beating Martin by refusing to play along with the lie. He's choosing the victims of the crime boss over the comfort of his husband's political aspirations. And that, my friends, is why this is such a huge moment for the show. So, what do you think? Is Smitty the hero of this story, or is he just as flawed as everyone else? Let's talk about it in the comments. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and like the video. It really helps us grow and keep providing this kind of in-depth commentary. We love our community, and we're so glad you're a part of it. I'll see you all in the next video. In the meantime, keep an eye out for any more spoilers. Things are moving fast, and you don't want to miss a single beat. Thanks for watching, and remember, the truth is out there, even in Fairmont Crest. You just have to know where to look. Think about Smitty's investigation into Rachel in the lab. It seems like busy work right now, but is it? In soaps, nothing is ever just busy work. Everything leads somewhere. Maybe Rachel has a connection to the smuggling ring that we haven't seen yet. Maybe she's the one who has the key to the whole thing. Smitty is a professional. He wouldn't be doing it if he didn't think there was something there. Martin might think it's a distraction, but it might be the very thing that saves them, or destroys them. And what about Bill and Haley? Their sexy time got cancelled by an unexpected person. This show is just full of interruptions. It's like no one can have a private moment without someone else bursting in and causing drama. But that's what we love about it, right? The chaos, the secrets, the constant tension. It keeps us coming back every single day. I'm also keeping an eye on the red market runner mention. Smitty said they are still out there hurting people in other cities. This suggests that the story is much bigger than just DC. It could lead to a massive crossover or a huge new storyline. The world of Beyond the Gates is expanding, and Smitty is the one leading the way. Martin needs to realize that he can't control the world. He can't even control his own marriage. He needs to let go of the Dupree protector complex and start being a real partner. He needs to listen to Smitty. He needs to respect Smitty's work. And he needs to be honest about his past. If he can't do those things, then their marriage is doomed. It's a simple choice, really. But for someone like Martin Dupree, it's the hardest thing in the world. I'll be here to see how it all unfolds. And I hope you will be, too. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next deep dive. Tell me your most out there theory in the comments. I love the crazy ones. Thanks for watching. One last thing, have you thought about the headline again? Smitty does something unexpected and beats Martin. In the context of the basketball game, it sounds like he won the game. But in the context of their relationship, it means something much deeper. He beat Martin at his own game of control. He took the power back. He said no to the manipulation. And he did it all while staying true to himself. That is the ultimate victory. And that's why Martin is so disappointed. He lost. He lost control, he lost the narrative, and he might even lose his husband. It's a powerful moment, and it's one that's going to be talked about for a long time. What a show! Beyond the Gates is really firing on all cylinders right now. I can't wait to see what happens tomorrow. Make sure you're here for our recap and commentary. We're going to have a lot to talk about. See you then. Seriously, think about the pressure of that campaign manager, Shonda. She's probably losing sleep over Smitty's podcast. She sees it as a ticking time bomb. And in a way, it is. But it's also the only thing that's keeping the show honest. Without Smitty, it would just be a story about a powerful man running for office. With Smitty, it's a story about the cost of that power. It's about the people who get left behind. And it's about the secrets that can never stay buried. That's why Smitty is such an important character. He's the conscience of the show. He's the one who's willing to ask the hard questions. Even if it hurts the people he loves. And that's what makes him so compelling. Martin, on the other hand, is the tragedy of the show. He's a man with a lot of potential, but he's being held back by his own secrets and the expectations of his family. He's trying to be a hero, but he's acting like a villain. It's a classic tragic hero arc, and I can't wait to see how it ends. Will he find redemption? Or will he lose everything? It's all on the line right now. Thanks for being part of this discussion today. It's been so much fun breaking this all down with you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you all in the next video. Stay soapy, everyone.